Alright, recording is up, and I will just be a minute or so.
Right.
I'm looking for something to talk about.
Defend objective A.
Hello. Viva Online. Peace be upon you. Need healing. Biotic field activated. I'm overloading.
Very nice.
I don't play by the rules anymore.
Enemy contact.
Very nice.
Still got it.
Not a ton
Thank
of
you.
problems, maybe a couple tiny minor ones that I'll keep my eye on and will bring up either after the game is over or as they get bigger.
I need healing.
A touch from afar.
Embrace tranquility.
Get into position.
Go.
Restoring you.
Okay, we got Mercy real low there, and then we kind of backed off. So rather than backing off, you probably want to either just drop health pack or just dodge her rockets since they're coming at you very slowly, and then that way you
Yeah.
can finish off the kill.
Ready for deployment. I've got you in my sight.
Oh shit.
Make sure that when we're visoring that there's people kind of in our line of sight to visor, because when we did visor, the only person we could see on our screen was a Reinhardt who had a shield, right? So just make sure that there's people out in the open that we can actually hit with it. So
Yeah.
it might have been better if we waited till they came in a bit further.
Still got it.
Yeah. The thing is that I saw many people and then they went away.
Yeah, so
At least that was my observation.
yeah, so it would be better for example if we just let them come in further, because if they're right at the start of that entranceway, right, then they can back off super easily. But once they're in the middle or all the way through, then they can't really back off.
Yeah.
I've still got it.
I'm under attack.
Uh-oh. Alright. You know, a couple things we'll maybe mention after this game. Besides that, not a ton has been happening so far. Besides that headshot, you know, we haven't died yet. Fights have been going pretty smoothly. Well, there with the headshot, there's a little bit of movement stuff that we might talk about after we're done here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Get into position. 30 seconds remaining.
Drop a health pack, right? Just get healed up. Right? We have that self-healing, so there's no reason to kind of sit back and wait for no reason.
Yeah, true. Jesus.
Alright, so that is called audio awareness, and we will talk a little bit about audio awareness after this game is over, because we didn't seem to notice that there was a Reinhardt on top of us until he had already swung on us 3 times, right?
I got kind of scared, honestly. He scared me. I'm pretty sure that we're not able to hold that back.
Yeah, that's a good observation. You're the only person alive. Not gonna work out too well for you.
Is there any way to maybe the stairs?
I've still got it.
To get to the high ground above you? Is that what you're trying to
Yeah.
get?
Here.
Yep, you're able
I
to
mean, maybe I should have taken this one to start with.
Yeah, it's gonna depend on where they decide to come from. That top left probably is gonna be slightly better, just because they're probably gonna come from that top left, so it gives you some better visibility.
You in my sights.
Oh,
I've got you in my sights. Clean sweep.
Very nice visor. Alright, so that time they were drawn in, they were kind of all out in the open, and then we were able to mow them down.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So here, probably set up on the, I would probably set up on that top left on the other side.
That one?
Yeah, because from that side we can basically see all of the exact same stuff, except for we're closer to the top left, which is where they're
Still
probably
got it.
coming from, right?
Yeah, true.
From afar. I require assistance.
Thank you.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Yeah, but do know that we don't have to get that close, right? Maybe be pulling back slightly, playing
Yeah.
towards the back cover might be better.
Yeah.
I'm overloaded. I've got you in my sights.
Get into position.
I've still got it.
Experience festivity.
Setting out the welcome mat. Power overwhelming. Thanks.
Wow.
Awareness, we once again, we'll go over audio awareness after we're done here.
Yeah. I thought he was going to shoot it on the point, so I didn't really care about it.
So rather than making that assumption, make sure that you are probably just glance around, right? Check it that way that you're rather than guessing that's going, because that's actually a decent guess, but you want to make sure right, that it's not going to accidentally kill you. So you want to glance down, check it out. All right, so we're gonna go over a couple things. So in general, your aim seems very solid. Your position, you seem to have a good positional understanding. You know that you should be on the high accounts, and you are positioning in good spots and whatnot. I'd say that so far I'm noticing a weakness being your awareness of your surroundings. So let's talk on awareness for a second. So I'm gonna stream real quick. So that we can go
Yeah.
over audio awareness. So firstly, audio settings, sound settings. Everyone has their own headset volumes, so this is subjective, but make sure that your headset, your master volume, is loud enough. Make sure that it's not super quiet, because if it's quiet, then you can't hear stuff. I would recommend turning off or down your music volume, because it's a lot of time going to clutter with your audio, just be an extra thing to add in when it's not necessary. And then also make sure, this is the important one out of these three, that you check on your headset if you have surround sound enabled. If it is not an option in your headset software, then go in game and turn on Dolby Atmos for headphones, because this is going to give you sound that surrounds you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, even if you have all those enabled, you still will not have good audio awareness unless you're actively paying attention. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to listening and paying attention to footsteps and gunshots and abilities and ultimates, right? And then that way you can hear when Reinhardt sneaks up on you and hear when the dragon is coming for you, right? That way you're able to dodge it out. You can probably queue up for a game now, but we'll go over some more stuff while you are in queue. But yes, and then we can discuss a little bit more in the audio awareness department, or in the awareness department, as it comes up. Then, real quick on movement, we actually got headshot while we were moving around on that first high ground by Hanzo. Now, the reason why we got shot was because we essentially were standing still without standing still, so let me elaborate. When it comes to movement, you generally want to move around, right? It looks like you got that. You usually weren't standing still, but you also have to note that there's bad ways to move around and good ways to move around. If you're standing still, obviously it's bad. Don't stand still. You want to what you call 80 straight, where you go left, right, left, right. Now, the thing that we were doing when we got headshot was we were going forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. Now this, yeah, this gives the illusion of movement without actually really giving you movement. Because now if you look at my crosshair on the enemy, it just stays on them the entire time. So from
Yeah,
their
that's bad.
Yeah, so it wasn't like that for you weren't doing that extent. You weren't just doing this over and over again. It was more like we were going left, right, and then we just added this in, and then that's when we died, right? So just look
Yeah.
to avoid that. Additionally, when you're doing it, don't go too fast. Don't because then again you're not moving at all on them. Don't go too slow. You want to find a nice medium pacing, back forth, mix it up, be random. Same thing with crouch spamming. Don't do it too fast. Don't do it. Never do it. You want to add in random crouches. So you want to find a nice medium pacing of crouches, left, right, and you want to be random with it. Is how your movement should be
I don't
essentially.
play by the rules
Yeah.
anymore.
So besides that, there were a couple times where we didn't we health packed a little bit late, right? Just make sure you drop in health pack as soon as you see that you're low HP, because you do have it as a thing. Now, if you don't have health pack as an option, or you just want to have a support heal you up so you don't have to waste health pack, then request healing. That's a good habit to get into. Is just anytime you need healing, request it. That way you get healing faster and sooner. That's the same thing, but um, let's see. I think
Yeah.
let me and again, let me know when you get into a game here. Yeah, I think we will possibly go over some more later, but I want to see some more of your gameplay first.
Welcome to Oasis.
Oh wait, is this not? This is not your one. This is
No,
somebody else's.
that's not me.
You were no, yeah, you were Icon.
Traveling to Icon. Ready for battle.
I've still got it.
My ultimate is ready. Let's go.
Stupidity is not right.
I need healing.
This will restore you.
Thanks.
Stupidity is not right.
When you are at a range, so some helix rocket techniques real quick. Typically helix acts as a finisher, right? You want to use, and I think you understand that. Helix acts as a really good finisher because we can go pow pow helix, and then you
I don't
burst down their
play
health
by the
all at the
rules
same time,
anymore.
and they have no time to run away, to get healed, to escape, etc. Right? That's good. But when you're at a range from someone where they're further away, if we helix as a finisher, then it doesn't act as well as a finisher, because by the time it reaches them, there's a big delay, right, because of the range. Additionally, it's also less accurate because it's a range, and projectiles are harder to hit at ranges, and therefore it's less of a guaranteed kill, right? It's a lot less likely to hit at a range, so therefore it doesn't act as good of a finisher at a range. It's better as a finisher when you're more of a close to medium range. So when you're at a longer range, you probably want to open with your helix, so that by the time your helix gets there, you're
Should've kept
bursting
your
them
head
down
down.
all at the same time with the health. It's just, once again, it's just slightly less accurate, so you're not guaranteed to land the helix. So that would be my recommendation. Additionally,
Yeah.
with helix,
I got into a game, by the way.
okay, sounds good. You still in the picking screen though? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what to pick. It's Hollywood Attack.
Hollywood Attack. Well, I'm not aware of what your hero pool is, so I mean, unless you want me to, real quick, yeah, unless you want to like tell me your hero pool or something like that.
You mean what the others have picked?
Or no, so I don't know what you play, what characters you play is what I'm saying.
Mostly Kree, Genji, Pharah, Soldier.
Okay, Kree, Genji, Pharah, Soldier. So
We already have a Genji.
yeah, so you already have a Genji, so you have Kree, Pharah, Soldier, right?
Yeah.
Soldier's usually pretty flexible. Pharah, if you do pick Pharah, you want to have a mercy for yourself, right? So McCree is pretty flexible. Here I would say that McCree works, Soldier works, and then in Pharah you'd probably pick, and then if you don't get a mercy, then you can then you swap to a different character. Is how you do that.
Yeah. I have to disable your stream again.
Oh, sorry. I always leave it open. Once again, remember you're opening with a helix, so when you're just shooting at the Junkrat, pop it in there, make it do stuff.
Come here and get stabilized.
I need healing. Need healing.
Get over here and heal up.
Missed that one. Jesus, where is it?
Alright, so now I'm noticing a lot more things that we can discuss. So, unfortunately, they are a bit of longer topics, so we will have to wait until your game is over here.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Nanoboost administered.
Stop horns and crusaders!
Double
You got a lot to
Okay,
learn.
very nice.
Oh, I'm lagging a little.
Oh, I saw the. I think might be the lobby? Question mark. I saw the Ana lagging.
Oh, a ping. I got a few hundred MS for a sec.
Yeah, I'm currently at 100 ms. I didn't know you can get you got ping when you're spectating.
Objective A.
Yeah, so I basically froze for a sec.
Oh, unfortunate.
I'm not a young man anymore. Get the payload moving.
My ultimate is charging.
I read you.
Don't move.
Tactical visor ready for deployment.
Helix
Oh
to
my
finish. Right,
Aw.
Helix to finish the whole while, right? As soon as you get them below 120 or the 2 or below 120 HP, Helix acts as a fantastic finisher.
Yeah, okay.
These old dogs learned a few tricks. Let them up.
A little bit laggy again.
My ultimate is ready. Let's go. Heal up here. Group up.
Прошу прощения.
I don't play by the rules. Get the payload moving. Everyone, heal up.
Okay. We're definitely gonna go over a lot more positioning stuff after this game is over. Note that when you're about to cap, we didn't get punished on it there, but when you're about to cap, point, where's the one place the enemy team needs to go?
The place enemy needs to go.
Yes, when you're about to cap point.
I mean, they have to reposition.
Well, if they're trying to contest, they have to go to point, right? So therefore, standing on top of cart maybe isn't the safest place we could be, and doesn't also give us great visibility if we're standing on cart. So you usually want to pull back a little bit off of cart so you can see more and shoot more, and you're also in less danger that way.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let's keep it moving.
Oh.
That was worth it, I think.
Typically, going 1-for-1 isn't worth it. Generally speaking, 1-for-1 is just. Oh, I mean, you also get the echo, right? But going 1-for-1 means that you essentially did nothing, right? Because it means you got to kill and then died. So it's over. Oh. Very nice. Visor so far, excellent. All right, we're gonna go over a lot of things. Don't quite queue up yet. So I'm going to stream once again. Hopefully I remember to cancel it this time when we're done. All right. So, let's begin. Positioning wise, so let's go over a couple different things. So firstly, let's discuss the idea of target priority. So I don't think that you're atrocious on this one, but there were a couple times where I think we are a bit off when it comes to knowing who should you shoot at. Generally, the answer is you want to shoot at the easiest targets to kill, not the hardest ones. And in general, tanks are the hardest targets to kill. They have 2 to 3 times the health of other characters. They have shields, they have armor, they have just things that you don't that are going to keep them alive, and things that you don't want to spend your time shooting at if you don't have to. Now, that's not to say that you never shoot at them. You can shoot at them when they're low, when they're out of position, when they are the only thing you can shoot at. But other than that, you probably want to be going for the supports and DPS. And then even within supports and DPS, there are easier and harder characters to kill. So what that looks like is it kind of goes into 2 categories here. Firstly, you have equal opportunity. So that's a situation like this where there's a tank here and a DPS here, right? And we have the option to shoot at both, and you choose to shoot at the tank. That's that's equal opportunity to shoot at both, and you choose the wrong one where we want to shoot at this character, right? Then
Yeah.
you also want to actively seek out other characters, actively put yourself in positions to reach those other characters, and that gets into some of our positioning here. So if we, for example, right, let's say this is the enemy team, this is our team, this is what you would call the main angle, right? If we're shooting down here, we're shooting into the tanks, the shields, the tanking abilities, right? We're not going to be
Yeah.
getting a ton of value. But if we take 2 seconds to come through here, well, now we've just immediately gotten past everything straight to the back line. This also creates a crossfire effect where now they're confused over who do we block, who do we shoot at, where do we put our resources. This just distracts them and causes chaos. And then, yeah, it's just going to do some other things here as well, right? It's just overall good. Now, additionally, I'd like to give you another example. Enemy team, our team, main angle, right? We take a couple seconds, 3 seconds, come up here to high ground quick, got around all the obstacles immediately straight to the back line, right? That's one of the reasons why high ground is so good, because as long as you're above them, it acts as a natural off angle. But if they're like all the way over there, well then not really, because they can still shield you, right?
Yeah.
So does that concept make sense?
And stay down.
Yeah, it really does, because then you also get pretty much behind all the shields as well.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's just getting around you all the stuff you don't want to be spending your whole game shooting at. Now, additionally, noting that Soldier is a pretty flanky character as well, and there's a difference between off-angling and flanking, because we just described off-angles. Off-angles are generally very safe and short. It takes you very little time to do it. A flank would be like this, where this enemy team, our team, we went around and around and around, right? So flanks are much longer, and therefore you're out of the fight longer, and then also it's much more dangerous where we have less cover, less safety, right? Soldier, because he has his sprint, and which gives him speed and more survivability, and he has his health pack, which gives him more survivability, he's going to be able to do flanks better than other characters, right? Tracer can do flanks as well, right? Those are characters that can do flanks. But if you're talking about like McCree, for example, McCree very rarely would want to flank. I'd say maybe with a high noon, but he's very rarely going to want to flank, where Soldier can do that a lot more frequently than him. So note, flanking, off-angling are going to get you around their abilities, around their abilities, shields, etc. Some other things real quick, I was going to mention this before. Helix Rocket, when you're helixing someone, aim at their feet, because if you aim at their bodies and you miss, it goes sailing past, it does nothing, right? If you
Yeah.
aim at their feet and you miss, then it hits the floor, and you still get splash damage even if you don't hit the direct shot, right? So we want to be aiming at their feet when we're landing helixes. So let's talk about some other things as well. Ranging on McCree, not McCree, on Soldier, where do you want to be standing in terms of ranging? Once in a while, I think we got slightly far, and then once in a while, I think we got slightly close. So Soldier in general is a medium range character. So why is that? Well, you don't want to be too close, because there's a lot of other characters that do close range better than Soldier, right? Such as Reaper, May, Reinhardt, Brig, McCree, etc. Right? There's a lot of other characters that just do close range better. So therefore, Soldier wants to pull back a little bit. Usually your starting range, I would say, is going to be around 15 meters or so. So that's around here. Is going to be where is your preference, right? This is where you usually want to be standing, but it's not it's a general statement, not an end all be all. And then you also don't want to stand too far away, because if you do that, then you have you have 3 different things, right? Firstly, I guess, yeah, 2 things, something like that. If we're here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots to
You
kill.
got a lot to learn.
If we back up a little bit, right, then we get fall off damage. Where now at this range we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess it's still 5. I guess pull back to here, and I think it's now going to be more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots to kill now. So that's fall off damage. The further away you are, the less damage you do, which means that it's going to take longer to shoot people. Additionally, targets that are smaller are harder to hit, right? So you're going to be much more likely, you're also going to be missing more shots. And then from back here it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Jesus.
16, 17, right? So it's just going to be a
We all
lot
got it
more
coming.
at ranges. I didn't see you all the way back here, but sometimes you were kind of right on the edge of the range and probably just wanted to be pushed forward slightly. So 15
Yeah.
meters starting. Probably recommend around like 40 meters is your preference, right? So like 15, or I guess this is 30. Wait, that's 10, 20, 30, 40. So 30 meters. Yeah, so 15 to 30 meters roughly. 35 is, is fine. Going further, you're pushing it, right? So that's a little bit more than that. Let me think if there was other things I was going to discuss. You can probably queue up now, and then I'll
We all got it.
remember what else I was going to talk about.
Yeah, I started AQ like a minute ago.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. I feel like there's one or two more things, but I'm forgetting for the moment. Oh yeah, generally take high grounds. High grounds are fantastic forms of positioning. You got it well on your first one, or your first map you're on, but on the attack
I don't
we
play by
weren't
the
as
rules
likely
anymore.
to take the high grounds. I don't think we actually took a high ground on that last one, and there's a lot of high grounds on that map. High grounds are fantastic. Look to take them in between fights or any chance you get, because from high grounds, like we discussed, you get off angles, which gets you around stuff. So that would have been very handy on first point, where we just were stuck shooting at all the shields and whatnot. If we took like their top left, right, that would have been very helpful. But from high grounds, we also have cover, right? They can see us, now they can't. See us, we crouch, now they can't. Also, characters can't really reach
got a
us.
lot to
2/3
learn.
can't. The other third that can need to use abilities, which now they don't have abilities, and that's extra survivability. And then additionally, it gives you a ton of visibility, right? We can see everything over here, 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 here. But if we're on a low
Yeah.
ground, not over there, not over there, none of the high ground.
Then you have to walk around it.
Yeah, exactly. Then trying to think, and then yeah, just rotate. Make sure in between fights that when you have the time, because in between fights you got a good like 20 seconds, use that time to rotate to the high ground rather than sitting on point, for example, right? So the example I saw that in was second point when we were capping and sitting on point. Rather than sitting on point, probably want to take the high ground, right? That way you have it for the fight, and then that's much better than standing on the middle of point for their
Should get your
recontest.
head down.
Yeah, so basically take high ground if you don't necessarily need to be on low ground.
Yeah, well, I mean, high ground's always always gonna be superior to low ground. So it's in you take high ground any opportunity you're able to, unless you're contested off of high ground, or the high ground's just nowhere near the fight, right? It's just a bad high ground, or if you don't have the time to take high ground because you're in the middle of fighting and shooting and you can't take a pause for a second. So
Yeah.
for a high ground is bad. Like I mean, like if the fight's happening over there and I'm back on this high ground, well, we just talked about range, didn't we? So. Being over here might not be great, but if I can get closer, like up over here, then high ground's great, right? So watch. There are times where high ground's not good. There's worse high grounds than there are, but generally speaking, if you have the chance, go for the high ground.
Yeah, I see.
All right. And I think that is it for the current moment.
We all got it.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's good for the moment.
Just have to wait for the queue then.
Yep. I'll put us in the replay for a minute.
Traveling to icon
Yeah.
ready for battle.
I've still got it. I've still got it.
Very nice.
I've still got
But there we didn't seem to hear the Pharah. Make sure also like just watching and looking for her. Because she's our responsibility to take out as the hit scan character in our team. Additionally, who on your team, right? You like just take a look at what your comp is. To their Pharah, who is Pharah's greatest threat.
Say that again, please.
Yeah. So take a look at your team composition here. Who is on your team Pharah's greatest threat?
It's me.
It's you, okay. Who's Pharah therefore probably most likely to focus each fight?
Me probably.
Yeah, probably you, because I mean that's at least what I would coach the Pharah to do. Because if she takes you out, then she doesn't have nearly as many people looking at her, right? She can do a
Found the
lot
game,
more.
by the way.
Okay, sounds good. So therefore, if Pharah is the person who you can kill the best, or out of your team, and she's also going to be focusing you, then you probably want to put some attention on her, right? Make sure you're focusing her, looking at her. All right, I'm spectating now.
Yeah, true.
Welcome to
Uh,
Blizzard World.
It's Blizzard World Defend. I would guess that Soldier is a pretty good one here.
Yep, Soldier would be good. If you wanted to try it, Pharah would be good. McCree would be okay. I'd probably say Soldier would be better here. And then who was the last one you said? Genji? I think you already have a Genji here, so.
Small talk.
Always liked working with you too.
Could you please say that again? I had a huge lag spike.
Yeah, you are good. I said Soldier is probably your best pick here. You already have a Genji, but Genji's slightly worse on defense than offense. Then Pharah would be okay, but again, once you probably got to get a Mercy, and then McCree would be okay.
Yeah.
5,
Hello.
4, 3.
I mean, I would guess I should stand up here, because, you know,
Yep.
background and stuff.
Yep, this would be your best spot until the fight transfers to the point. In which case, you probably want to back up to the back end of point.
Yeah.
I've still got it.
Oh, that was a miss. They have window. Yes, I should not be hit by her.
Yep, that would probably be a good idea.
I don't play by the rules anymore.
Oh, come on.
Get into position.
Okay, good decision to back up.
Jesus.
Okay. Probably there. Rather than pushing forwards aggressively, you wanted to go and take the high ground on the back of point, right? With that little couple of seconds lull while they're pushing forwards. That way you
Yeah.
have that superior positioning. And rather than being kind of forwards on the point, which wouldn't be great.
Yeah. I rarely ever actually think about this position here.
Yeah.
I've got
I
you
mean,
in my
I guess I could ult.
Your body degrades.
That was a bad decision.
Why was it a bad
Pretty scary.
decision?
Because there were way too many people there.
Yeah, and too
And I
little of
was
your
the only
teammates. Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit. I think you got the general point there. We'll talk about like how you can measure that a little bit better after the game is over here.
Hey, sniper, be careful. Every group up.
I mean, I think I could take high ground here. Yes, maybe. Yes, actually.
Yep. Though your team just did kill everything.
That Genji though.
I'm actually surprised that you knew about this. This is this is usually something I have to tell people about.
I played Little Floris Lava, so I've seen it.
Hello.
Don't think I have to go down from here. Never mind.
Oh, watch standing still, right? Because we did, especially if they have Widowmaker, but then in general, 80 strafe, and then also just keep your eyes on like where are Widowmaker sight lines, where's
Mission
she
ain't
at.
over yet.
Might not want to be out in the open if
Stop the payload.
she has line of sight on you.
Yeah. Hold on.
You can also jump up
Oh.
that right leg as well. That's probably the easier leg to jump up, honestly.
The right one?
Yeah, the right leg there. Remember Helix to either initiate or finish,
Thank you.
Yeah.
just using it.
I need healing. I've got you in my sights. And stay down.
Okay. I'd probably avoid. Oh,
Idle SCVs to IL-4.
yeah, I'd probably avoid dropping from high ground for this reason exactly, right? The fact that you died, and then additionally you dropped on top of a ulting hog, right? So yeah, that's just really dangerous. Limits your visibility as well.
I'm not a young
So
man
I'd just
anymore.
probably keep the high ground, stay on top of it.
Yeah, even if I could kill the healer like that.
Yes, because you don't want to suicide to get kills ever, and then on top of that, you possibly could have looked to just find somebody else if you had come up on this like top right where you're at. Because
Yeah.
we didn't even go and check this angle to see if there's anybody. So yes, you can just hop up that right leg. I'm more so that side. Yep. Yep. There you go.
There we go.
You don't even need to be
Hold on.
sprinting when you do it. Very nice.
You don't.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Jesus.
Watch that.
I've still got it.
I mean, I sniped the sniper.
Mm-hmm.
Group up with me.
I think that sniper might be looking for me.
Possibly.
Yeah. I think I saw her.
I've still got it.
If your team looks like they want to fight there, you might want to go like and stand above on like where Genji's at, and then you can participate from there, and then you can always back to the high ground.
I've got you in my sights.
Oh, my aim.
Sniper, get your head down or lose it.
Okay. Initially we engaged and we shot at. Oh, watch the health bar. Request healing back up. We engaged and we helixed first when you're close range. Remember, you're using helix second when you're close range. And then additionally, we kind of swapped around from target to target to target, which just means that we tickled everybody rather than killing anything. So make sure we're
Yeah.
sticking on a target. And then that's mainly it there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't see him.
Once again, get a little bit closer. If you don't have, if the fight's going on and you don't have visibility on it, then you kind of gotta push.
Fire at will.
Hey,
Allow me to repair the damage.
60 seconds remaining.
group up.
Nice.
Only gets better with
I
age.
think that's where I got angry now.
15 and 45 past each hour, head to the dock for a hands-on fishing demonstration. From the one and only
Hello.
Огонь по готовности.
I don't play
30
by the
seconds
rules
remaining.
anymore.
Oh, this is my jam.
Спасибо.
My sound barrier is almost ready.
Barriers on.
Hey,
Oh, shit.
10
Oh, let's
seconds.
break it.
remaining.
Damn!
Thanks.
Nanoboost administered.
Strength flows through me. The dragon.
All right. Hop out real quick. We're gonna cover a couple things here. So let's talk real quick. I don't think this one, once again, I don't think you were absolutely terrible with it. It was just maybe a couple time, mainly one time, maybe a couple others where it could have helped out a little bit.
Yeah.
We're all
This
soldiers now.
topic, we're gonna discuss is just how to tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight. Mainly, this comes down to watching kill feed, because kill feed is gonna give you information on whether your teammates are alive or dead from anywhere on the map at any point. And it's just important to know that. So when you are up or down, 1 to 2 people, that is an advantage or a disadvantage, right? You play more aggressive or passive in that scenario. When you are up or down 2 to 3 people, that is a won or lost fight, right? That's where you want to look to get out if you can. If you've lost, then you get out if you can. If you can't, you let them kill you. And then if you've won, you just get extra aggressive and you push in. Now, in either case, you probably do not want to be using your ultimate, because then that's just, it's overkill if you've won. It's not, and then it's just wasting it if you've lost, because it's not going to change the fact that you lost. So, for example, in that one fight that we used our visor, if we were watching kill feed, but then also we have a ton of other sources that show us too, right? We could see, as we're walking in, we see that we have no teammates alive. We can see our teammates dying through the walls. We can
Should've kept your
see it
head
in
down.
tab. We can hear them dying, right? There's just so many different sources that tell us. But when we see that it's just, 1v4, then probably popping visor is not going to do a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
Now, additionally, let's talk about application. So how do you actually look to apply the things that we've talked about, right? This is something I like to cover with everybody at some point during the session. And you're going to apply these things by making sure that while you are playing, you're actively focusing on the things you're trying to work on. Now, what that looks like is you're going to pick something out. So let's say, for example, awareness. You're going to pick something out. You're going to make sure that while you're playing, you're not autopiloting. You're not just playing to play. You're not purely, contrary to popular belief, just purely playing to win. Is when you do that, you end up stagnating. Whereas when you end up actually playing to improve, you end up winning more. Now, what that looks like within your gameplay is you are going to be thinking to yourself, awareness, 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 right? And when you do that, that's going to give you a constant stream of reminders to think about your surroundings. And that's all that awareness is thinking about your surroundings. And when you do that, your awareness will be better. When you do that for a long enough period of time, it'll form it as a positive habit. Once you form it as a positive habit, then you no longer need to really worry about it as much, because it will come naturally to you. And then you can look for something else to work on. Now, I will note, probably don't try to do everything all at once. It will be too overwhelming. There's too much stuff. So pick one category of things to work on, or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category. So just to check, does that make sense?
Yeah. It really does, actually.
All right, sounds good. So now we're going to go into the main points, do a quick review, and then wrap up from there. But real quick, let me get a swig of water. All right. So now we're going to go over, like I said, those things. Starting with ability usage, sprint. I think there were some times where we seemed a little clunky with it, right? Really just note that you use it anytime you're ever moving anywhere and you're not shooting, right? Just anytime you're doing anything and you're not in the middle of actively using an ability or shooting, you should be sprinting, right? So that means that I am just standing here. I go pew pew pew. I move 2 inches, pew pew pew, 2 inches, pew pew pew, 2 inches, pew pew pew, right? So sometimes it's just like a little bit sluggish, where it would be more like this, where we would go pew pew pew, sprint, pew pew pew, sprint, pew pew pew, right? It was just like slightly delayed. That'll come with time. Just keep working on it. Not a massive deal whatsoever. Health pack usage, just make sure dropping it more frequently. Get it down there anytime you see you've taken damage, or request healing when you see you're low. Helix, when you are, I don't think we talked about the actual ranges, probably say like within 20 meters-ish, that's your finisher range, and then you can do it even like a little bit past that. But then once you're past that, then it can be good to engage with. I'd say maybe more like I don't know, it's hard. Maybe we'd say like 25. Within 25, this is finisher. Past that is opener. Something along those lines. It's not a hard and fast range, right? It's just kind of that the preference, right? You probably should do one or the other within those distances. But sometimes we would be like right here and we would open, right? Or we'd be back here and we would try to finish, right? And it's just not gonna
Yeah.
work out. Aim at people's feet. That way, if you miss, you hit them. Overall, probably like a low to medium, not super high. Low to medium priority for you to work on, to clarify. Um, ultimate usage, honestly, overall, super good. Just make sure we're not using it in won or lost fights, and then make sure there's actually people to shoot at when you're ulting, right? Make sure
Yeah.
that they're out in the open, that there's people on your screen, and that they're not all behind a shield, right? Besides that, most of them did good stuff. So overall, that was probably a low to medium as well. Mechanics, make sure that you are focusing the right targets, target priority. Shoot at the easiest characters to kill, not the hardest ones to kill, right? So shoot at supports and DPS, not, tanks, and then you do shoot at the harder things to kill. If they're low, if they're out of position, if they're the only thing that you can shoot at, right? Really, if you have opportunities. And then even, like I said, even among the DPS and supports, there's still going to be easy and harder, right? So like, who's going to be easier to kill, a Tracer or an Ana?
Ana, obviously. It's
Yeah,
easier to kill.
exactly. So Tracer would probably be a lower priority than Ana, right? Then additionally, let's see, is there anything else in mechanics? Make sure you're sticking on a target and you're not kind of swapping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between people. Yeah, and then that sometimes just meant that we would just end up spamming a little bit rather than actually trying to kill something. And then I'd say just keep working on like your comboing with your helixes, because sometimes we would just kind of tickle people rather than actually securing the kill. But yeah, no, overall, probably this goes to mainly the main thing in this category is just target priority, and then this probably goes to like maybe a medium, but the lower end of a medium, right?
Yeah, okay.
Then you have positioning. Make sure you are taking high grounds. Take high grounds in between, in between fights whenever you get the opportunity. Take off angles. Off angles get you to those targets that you want to shoot at. Take flanks as soldier. Watch out for flank, and just make sure you're not taking too long of flanks or too dangerous of flanks. Just because you gotta watch out for those two things. If you're out too long, then you can't do anything. And watch out for flanking on other characters, because not all characters are as fast and as survivable as Soldier is. Additionally, make sure we're just generally using cover. Watch your range. Your preference range is probably going to be 15 to 30 meters roughly, is where you want to be standing, so try to stay within that whenever possible. And then that is mainly it. Overall, that was probably like a higher end of a medium for you to work on. Possibly a medium high, but higher end of medium for the moment. And then finally, awareness. Awareness, pay attention to your health bar. Request healing when you're low. Place health pack. Watch kill feed, right? We just talked about it a second ago, so I don't have to repeat it. Right? Watch kill feed and what's happening in there. Besides that, just generally pay attention to where's my team at, where's the enemy team at. Pay attention to your audio awareness when people are sneaking up on you. That way you don't have people sneaking up on you, right?
Yeah.
Press, tab, check out what's happening in tab. Tab's also, I don't think we talked a ton about it, but I recommend at a very minimum once between every single fight, because it gives you a lot of info. Did they swap characters? Did we swap characters? What ults do we have? Etc. And then overall, it's just generally paying attention to your surroundings. Overall, that was probably a medium as well. So to put that all in order, probably say number 1 comes to positioning. Number 2 comes to awareness. 3 comes to mechanics. 4 comes to your probably ability usage, and then 5 comes to ult usage. So that's about it. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, it's about the game generally, not only the heroes that I played today. It's I've heard that if you are shooting enemies but you never really finish them, that's technically feeding. Is that right?
I would say that it's more like, I mean, like, you could say that. I wouldn't really take it that far. I would more say that you're just having a lack of value, which is probably almost feeding implies that it's that you, if you're not killing stuff and you're shooting at them, that it's in fact being a negative. I wouldn't go that far, because you doing damage is still important to get ult charge to help your team get secure kills. So it's not it's not a negative. But if you're not getting kills, then that and you're just tickling them and going pew 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 the entire time, then that means that you're just going to be having a lack of value. Now, if you're talking about if you're talking about just poking, right? Poking is just shooting with damage. Usually this is reserved for in between fights, when the fight has not begun yet, or when you're really far away from people. That's perfectly fine, as long as you don't have your ultimate, because really what you're doing with that time is you're getting ult charge, and you're whittling down their health and resources as they're pushing in, right? So that's perfectly fine to be doing, as long. But if you have your ultimate already, then think twice about it if you're like in between fights, because then you're just feeding them. That's the case where you're just giving them support ult charge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah. Also,
We all got
you mentioned that I should try go for the squishes and not the tanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes I like to shoot tanks also to get more ult charge, because they have lots of HP and you can do
kept your head
lots of damage and stuff.
Um,
Would you do that, or would you do less ult charge and try focus more on the squishes?
I would only do that in two situations. One, when you're poking, so like we said, when you're just trying to get your ult charge, when you're just doing pumping in damage, right? That's fine when you're poking. Or if you're like really close to getting your ult and you wanted to get it ASAP, right? You want to get it on board. So like if you're like maybe let's say like 80 plus or something like that on your ult charge, or something like that, and you want it for this fight, then you can start like farming for your ultimate. But if you're like nowhere close to your ultimate and it's during a fight, then then why are you charging up your ultimate, because you're not going to get it to the next fight anyways,
Yeah, true.
right? Anything else?
down.
Oh, I think that was pretty much it.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop